Good morning, everybody, and we welcome you to this edition of the NFL podcast. So this episode is not going to be as long. I think it's going to be fairly short, maybe 15 minutes. So once again, it's Antonio Brown in the news again. So before I get started, I want to let everybody know I'm going to try to put this video on YouTube, but I don't think it's going to work. It may be a few weeks before I can be back on YouTube again, due to internet connections. So this is what I'm going to try, but if not, it's just going to be the podcast. But here I am. So, obviously, as I can see, big weekend in sports is Georgia's beating Notre Dame, and that was a great win. I watched the whole thing on TV. It was on CBS. That crowd at Sanford Stadium was as loud as it's ever been, and I was there the week before when they played Arkansas State. There's probably game time 85, 90,000 people probably there the whole time. It was quiet. People left early. Droves of people were coming out at halftime. That's not the point against Notre Dame. 93,000 people the whole time. Electric, loud. Probably the crowd was probably the biggest reason why Georgia won and beat Notre Dame. But that was a great win. Great win. So Antonio Brown has been released by the Patriots. And when I first heard the news, I was surprised, to be honest. I thought, wow, already? He only lasted one game with the Patriots. Yeah, I was shocked at first. And he lasted on the Patriots less than 2 weeks since he's released by the Raiders fairly quickly after that. But just what happened? Well, so let's go back to really quite soon after he signed with the Patriots. Since there's this great article written by Robert Klimko from Sports Illustrated, I read the article, and Antonio Brown, so this was not relevant really at the time when I last spoke about 2 weeks ago. I was kind of speaking what happened over the weekend and was going on with Mike Mayock and the Raiders and really things like that. And when he got to New England, I predicted that that'll be the end of everything. He was going to fit in just fine in New England, since, for one, I had no idea what was coming. I don't think anybody had any idea what was coming. But then, there was accusers, and I think he had two. And not only that, in that Klimko article, it explains how if someone had to do housework for him or yard work or really providing services to him, he was in debt with them. He was in debt with a lot of people. Really, for any type of service, I don't know. So it was interesting, kind of interesting history, interesting background. But again, one game with the Patriots, one game. That was it. And again, a week ago, we were aware of what was going on. And what really divided the line with the Patriots, what really caused him to be released by the Patriots, so that Sports Illustrated article came out, his accusers, and you can read the article, explain more in detail what is going on. His accusers probably told information to Sports Illustrated, so it's out on Sports Illustrated. So that was a big deal last Monday. And the reason why he's released by the Patriots is he sent threatening texts to his accusers. So that became what was already a problem became a bigger problem. So now all of a sudden, you have that to deal with. And the Patriots, who did just fine in week 1 without him, who won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years without him, decided, you know what, we can move on. We tried. This isn't working at all. We're not going to deal with this anymore. Which is absolutely right. Which is absolutely right. Since what I said, when he was released by the Raiders 2 weeks ago. I went at length at this. When you try to do certain things and you break the rules in the Patriots organization, so things like that. If you could have just let things pass by, you're not worried about it, just kept playing the Patriots, didn't say anything, would have still been on the Patriots. And Adam Schefter, who is the most prominent ESPN insider, probably the most famous one by a large margin, kind of wrote an article about kind of what happened, and when those texts were sent to Patriots, who they have certain rules they have to go by. And Antonio Brown, who again, what if this was in Oakland? He'd probably still be there. If he was still in Pittsburgh, I think he'd still be there right now. But the Patriots, who have their own rules, and when you do something what Antonio Brown did, now granted, they're already dealing with that Sports Illustrated article. They kept him when about a little more than 2 weeks ago, I think it was just 24 hours after I recorded and was on, his accusers were already coming out. They dealt with that, since we didn't really know what was going on. I think it was too early in the process. They dealt with the Sports Illustrated article last Monday. They dealt with that. But when he sent the texts, that was it. That was it. Since that was basically, you could say, strike one, strike two, strike three. That's what it very well might have been for Antonio Brown. And the rules still apply to Antonio Brown in New England. And the Patriots had enough. They said, okay. And I said this at length. This is the Patriot way. If you're not going to go along with their ways, then you're going to get released. And that's exactly what happened. They didn't care if it was 1 game, 1 week. They didn't care. They had enough. That was it. They were done with him. They don't have to deal with this anymore. They can move on. And I heard just the headline, Bill Belichick kind of did a stare when asked about Antonio Brown in the press conference. Just, you know what? Let's say this happens. Coach, how do you feel about the Antonio Brown situation right now? Let's just say this is asked right now. He is no longer on our team. He has been released by our team. And we are moving forward without Antonio Brown. He would say something like that. Probably even use the words differently. So there you go. No longer part of the Patriots. The Patriots can move on. They don't have to deal with this anymore. And they can be focused on winning yet another Super Bowl. So let's review. So in the last 2 weeks, was released by the Raiders, signed with the Patriots on September 7th within 72 hours. Within 3 days, news came out, accusers. And it kind of dragged on throughout the week. We didn't know much really about it at first. And then last week, Sports Illustrated article, a whole list of people he has dealt with in the past, who has had incidents with. And just so much has happened. And then Sports Illustrated article. Boom. Then threatening texts, right? Patriots release him. That, boom. Done. And then I heard on Saturday teams are interested in him. Okay, so they can deal with him, right? But no one will probably sign him until anything's resolved. I don't think he'll play this year. I really just think he needs the year off between what happened in Oakland and what happened with the Patriots. Just needs a year off. Antonio Brown says he's done with the NFL. He is done with the NFL. Okay. So he's done with the NFL. Fine. Does that mean he's done playing? Or he's just done dealing with the league? Could mean he's done playing and he's don't think he's going to play this year. He's not going to play this year. He needs this year off. Maybe in the offseason some team will sign him. Could very well get suspended this year by the league. I think more details will start to emerge. In fact, I'm not going to get any details about it. But look up Antonio Brown on the internet right now. Look it up right now and you'll find more details of what's going on. Since, to be honest, me, myself, I don't feel comfortable sharing it. but just read it and you'll see that there are more details. So, there you go. There you go. So it's going to be a while before he plays in the league again, if ever. And this is not the first time we've been talking about him. Again, go back 6 weeks ago, we were talking about the helmet situation. It didn't seem like a big deal. It seemed like just an equipment thing. Then, fallout from the Raiders, getting released by the Raiders. There was stuff going on even before that, in the days leading up to that. And now in New England, it's been constantly, so in the last 3 weeks or so, Antonio Brown has constantly been in the news for something or another. And I feel like more stories will emerge. Just, and I think the biggest article was going on is kind of, someone was, so just very bizarre case, just Antonio Brown, fallout from the NFL. And if I want to ask, has he played his last game in the NFL? If I just say yes or no, I'm going to say 50% yes. 50% yes. It's going to be an interesting question. So, so much happened over the last 3 weeks. He's done with the league. The Patriots probably do the right thing by releasing him. They don't want to deal with this. They can move on, win another Super Bowl. They don't need him. And that's just the way it's going to be. So any final, really, opinions? I just think he had a lot of off-the-field issues. I think just seemed like doing a lot of crazy things, a lot of strange things going on. And it was written and detailed by that article by Robert Klimko. And now this leads to his release from the Patriots. So, really, hopefully, in this upcoming week, we can talk about other stories besides Antonio Brown. And 2 weeks ago, we thought that was the end of that. He's just going to go to the Patriots. That was not the case. Story after story unfolded. And that's just what's been going on. So again, big story. Antonio Brown's history and his release from the Patriots. Well, thank you for listening to this portion. Hopefully later in the week we will release other stories from around the league. And that is it for now.